Eleinu miyodo Yakadosh Baruch Hu Matzilenu miyodo da 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 Good Voch Rabbi Sai. Live from my house in middle of a war. Iranian missiles fell the entire Friday night. Leil Shabbos. Noyer Avoyim. Can't describe it. From here in Bet Shemesh, we saw, first of all, there was at one point, I don't know about you guys, we thought we could come out of the mamad. So we come out of the mamad, we go to the porch, and all of a sudden fireworks. Fireworks. They were shooting these arrows, I don't know what they were, arrows, the slings, from all directions. So we thought, oh, but there's no siren, so it's okay. I was like, wait, it doesn't make any sense. And then we saw something come down. You all saw it?
No. Also coming down
on by Gimel. It came down nice and slow, and there was oh no, this could hit us. You also thought that? We ran like little mice. We ran straight into the mamad. And then, of course, they woke us up in the middle of the night again. It's 5:20, but for whatever reason, since 5:20 in the morning, not a single siren here. I don't know. I think in the rest of our Israel, there was sirens like by Gaza a little bit. Okay, I don't know exactly. But from 5:20, now it's 10:20. You do the math. Was that 17 hours? Unbelievable. So Be'ezer Hashem, it should continue like that. Although the Iranians are threatening. Baruch Hu. 3 people were unfortunately killed over Shabbos, and 200 injured. 200 injured. A lot of people get injured from running and bumping. You know, the Belzer's son got very injured from one of the Houthi things last week. He ran into a wall. He needs stitches, the whole thing. So, Biraga. Okay, we're going to skip all the emails and everything. I'm going to go straight to the sponsors. Anonymous, Hatzlacha, bruchnius, Eli Dyckman, לעילוי נשמת, תינוק Rifka, TCS Israel, powered by TALKNSAVE, does monthly sponsor, weekly sponsor, Jared Ort. Thank you, Reb Eli Stefansky and the whole MDY Chevra for including me in shiur. Anonymous, Hatzlacha Yashua, for Yehuda and Rivka, may Hashem save and protect. Ein oid mlvadoi. MDY Kids Monthly, Kidnovations, Zechus for Fishel, Elchanan, Akiva, Rifky, Mrs. Stefansky, Art of the Month, Refuah Shleima, for Yonatan ben Hashem Brachah, for Zechus for Reb Eli and the whole MDY staff to continue to make Torah and Job so many. In honor of Yossi Klein Mark Ashkenazi for all the work they do. Beseder. So we're going to start. The reason why we're in a little bit of a rush is because the Iranians are threatening. Since it was so quiet, they like the nighttime, and we want to be able to be maspik the shiurim. There's another shiur that's coming right after this in Hebrew. So Be'ezer Hashem, if there's chas v'shalom a siren, everybody calmly. You're all not invited to my mamad. Run all the way home. The stairwell is probably safer than your mamad at home. And here we go. We're holding my Lemi Ketanoi on Daf Gimel Amud Beis. I have to say that, I don't know about you, just a little difficult these days to have the clarity of the head, to sit down and learn and prepare is difficult. And it's not about the Daf, it's about the Yomi. Every single day, we learned here on Friday, we learned on Motzei Shabbos here, and the fact that the Olam is coming and there was 200 people on Zoom and YouTube on Erev Shabbos is unbelievable. The Olam is tired also, not a lot of sleep, not a lot of... So, okay, Be'ezer Hashem. Let me get that note. We had this incredible halacha from Shmuel, and that is that if a person... Here, give me my... where's that whacker for the flies over there? Yeah. Just don't... I know your little tricks. You're going to turn it on. Somebody gives the handle, this little handle, for $1 million loan. And this is his pikadon, his collateral. So Shmuel says, he accepted it upon himself. Sover v'kabel, this is enough. So if he loses the handle, he doesn't have to pay back $1 million. Obviously, he has to pay back the $1 million and take back his handle, says Rashi. He can't just say, let's do a trade. But if you lose the handle, that's a problem. So the Gemara says, Lema ketanoi. Perhaps that's a machlokes tanoi. Hamav is chaver al mashkin v'ovid amashkin. Mamish, our story. Person lends his friend with a handle of something. He gives him a mashkin, and the mashkin was lost. Yishova v'yitol es mo'isov. So the malva doesn't have to pay. The malva, it makes a shvuah, and the loiv has to pay him the whole thing. Divrei Reb Eliezer, that's the opposite of Shmuel. Akiva omer yochelu sheyomer lo yiklum milvisani ela al mashkin. I gave you a mashkin, and that's why you gave me alva. That's mamish Shmuel. Ovid mashkin of the moisecha. You lost the mashkin, it's your problem. It's only a piece of plastic, and you gave me $1 million. Too bad. Ovid mashkin of the moisecha. But if in addition to the plastic handle, there's also a shtar, then obviously the $1 million is connected to the plastic. You lose the plastic handle, the wooden handle of the magol that I left in the base medrash. Shkoyach for somebody for getting it for me. It's in my, I don't know, so the guy, he knocked on the door. He wanted so badly to come. And I said, don't let anybody in. And they took it seriously. They said, no, you can't. So he went back to the base medrash. I felt bad because I never saw the guy. He's a guest. He's a guy. So he sat next to like where the guests sit. And during shiur, we like went into the base medrash. I have a screen here of my base medrash. It wasn't even. So I was speaking to him. I said, take the magel out. And he took it out. And I turned the camera. I don't know. So we saw him a little bit. I feel bad. 81 people on Zoom, on YouTube. I don't know how many people on Zoom. Wow. Okay. So, what's the pshat? So let's do this. Let's see if this works. Oh, here we go. So there's a nice little Likutei Rashi. You can look. It's the last one on the Amud. I just put it on. You see it on the screen or no? Yeah. Okay. I think it has to be like that. Just because you see it doesn't mean they see it. Now they see it. It says like this in Likutei Rashi. So this is a Rashi somewhere in Bava Metzia. It says the Hamashkin Vaday Leguvayna Shokal Ligvois Himeno. Obviously, think about it. Why did this guy take a handle? He took the handle to get paid from. The stam shtar yeshboy shibud karkois yeshboy mechen ligvois. A shtar accomplishes everything. First of all, it has collateral, and the betuachu, and he's sure. Begam lichbar niyachol, it gives you evidence that there's a loan. The koi shtara. So memela, the handle is hilkach lav zikaron dvarim nakte. So he didn't take this handle for zikaron dvarim. Sometimes you take. The Gemara is going to use this lashon. Sometimes you take a mashkin to prove that you had a loan. That's why you took a mashkin. But over here you don't need proof. You already have a shtar. So then why do you take a mashkin? Obviously the mashkin is instead of the halva. If you lose the mashkin, you don't get paid back. So everybody agrees. If there's, you're doing it from over there? Over there. Shmak. So let me just show you how it looks real quickly. This is Avremi Cohen, our major computer genius. He's in my office. And that is our other computer genius, Dave Sharfman. And this is the Chevra that came tonight. Yishkoyach. Okay. So, did I put it back normally? And I like I said before, I don't know about you. It brings back some not such great memories of me sitting in this makam. I used to sit over here a little bit. And sometimes we couldn't have anybody. Sometimes I was all by myself. It was nerve. I'm talking to the screen, and I already mentioned the other day, so I don't have to mention it again. But people made a ha'aris about the liquor. So how come? Why is it down? It's like I didn't want to tell them it's my son-in-law. Anyway, it was a shver matzav here. People had a drink. Beginning of Corona, Hashem Yirachem. Okay, so Zog the Gemara. Hey Chidomi. The Gemara says, what's the case? If the handle is worth as much as the $1 million loan, it's it's the same. My time in the Reb Eliezer. How come Reb Eliezer says that the malva could get repaid for everything? What's the pshat? Once he lost the mashkin is worth as much as the loan, so the malva should lose. Why should the malva get paid again? It's not worth the same. Oh, so you see that this halacha that Shmuel is saying is already a machlokes tanoi, and that's the machlok whether or not the mashkon represents the entire chayav or not. Says the Gemara, loy. If it's not worth the same amount as the loan, everybody argues with Shmuel. You can't say that a silly plastic handle is worth $1 million. No. And so we're actually going through some of the famous sugyas in Shas. We're very familiar with these sugyas for the most part. It's you that does it all the time. I call you now red-handed.
I was told to.
Okay. So it actually is worth, the mashkin is worth the same amount as the loan. So what's the shayla with the Rabbi Yitzchok kumifligi? It's famous Rabbi Yitzchok, we had a number of times in the last few months. How do you know that the malva actually is the owner of the mashkin? He's the owner of the collateral. By you giving back the PJs, the famous pasuk, here, Hashiv, Tashiv, Lo Ya'avod, K'vay Hashem V'shocha B'salmoso Yiv'ercheka, U'l'choti Tzedaka L'fnei Hashem Elokecha. By you giving back the mashkin, which in this case is a garment that you wear at night, some PJs or whatever, so you're Mekayim mitzvahs tzedakah. Now you can't be Mekayim mitzvahs tzedakah if it's not 100% yours. I can't be Mekayim. I'll take your money.
You should say it again.
I cannot. I know a guy, I'll say this again. I know a guy, big tzaddik, he took $1 million from somebody without permission and donated it to build a mikvah. And they made a big zach, what a chesed. We all know somebody like that, no? I mean, not this particular, we all never know people like that. That the Gemara said they take other people's money and they do chesed with it. No. In order for the chesed to be yours, it has to be l'cha, it has to be yours. You have the hard-earned money, you go ahead and do tzedakah. Don't do tzedakah on yenes cheshbon, as they say. Now, I just want to point out that the Rambam says that the number one tzedakah is giving a guy a loan. The problem is that I personally find, in my experiences, it's one of the hardest mitzvahs to be mekayim. Very, very difficult because you don't trust the guy that he's going to pay you back. And what?
Tzedakah, it's not a loan. It's real tzedakah.
Yeah, it's mamish, exactly. Says Ramosha, it's tzedakah, it's not a loan. If you could go in and give it to the guy, listen, if it's a small amount for you, every person, what?
He's borrowing it because he doesn't have.
Right, and the whole nekuda is that he, in his mind, he thinks, yes, how are you going to pay it back? Oh, that's where I want to get to. That's exactly what I want to say. So the issue is you have to find arevim, and you have to get collateral, you have to this, and in my own experience, a lot of times people gave me collateral that wasn't worth the same amount of the loan, it was a little less, and they didn't care. They didn't pay back the loan. Actually, what?
Where's the drawer?
Actually, in their mind, they don't have to pay back because look, he has collateral. If it's something that hurts them, maybe then they would. But okay, what are you going to do? You start taking a car or this. I told you, license worked pretty well. There's different things. So the eitzah they say is, and this is mamisha eitzah, a good eitzah, is to give to a gemach. Because the gemach knows what they're doing. They get their money back, and they say that if you're shutav in the gemach, it doesn't matter how much. You give them $100, $1,000, you become shutav in the millions of dollars that they have. And every dollar that they lend out, you become like a chelik of the thing. So it could be a very good idea to give. I spoke to Myers. He davens in our minyan every morning. He has a very, very big gemach. He says the amount of people that don't pay are less than 1%. It's a very, very small amount. They have little tricks how they're very tough on the Arevim, and the Arevim put a lot of pressure on the borrowers. But Kitzer, that's the way to be Mekayim the mitzvah b'tefarto. What are you saying?
They didn't pay you.
Yeah. All right. I just saw a nice vart from the Vilna Gaon. The Vilna Gaon says in the pasuk. First of all, he says like this: when somebody puts their fist like this, all the fingers look the same size. When you open up your palm, then that's when you can see the difference in the size of fingers. So he says on the pasuk, Lo sikpo itzis yodcha b'chicha evyon ki b'soyach tiftach. Yeah, in other words, he's saying that you shouldn't give everybody that comes to ask you money, you shouldn't give them the same amount. Ki b'soyach tiftach. You should notice when you open up your hand that every person needs in a different amount. Everybody has a different thing. If you're tick bites, you go like this, then it looks like everybody's the same, and that's a little bit of a problem. In the morning, everybody has the minute, you give every single guy the same amount. It's $1, it's a shekel, whatever it is. So that's new. That's to be yaitzezayin, because you don't trust it. But when a guy comes to your door and you need to give, what's the lashon? Kefi. Each person, the kefi is tzarech. Demach tzarech. Thank you. So each one, it's different. You have to look at what they need. So the Gemara. So if the malva doesn't actually own the collateral, halachically, how is it considered tzedakah? So you see from here that you do own the mashkoin. If you own the mashkoin and you lost the mashkoin, it's your loss. Even if it's $1 million to handle, you take the loss. And Reb Lezer is going to be choylik, and he says, no, it's not considered yours. I argue on Rabbi Yitzchak. Says Gemara, limited Rabbi Yitzchak Tanoi. Maybe so you're telling me that Rabbi Yitzchak, whether Rabbi Yitzchak lived many generations later, it's not important. The Tanoim argued in this. But upon him, did they really argue in Rabbi Yitzchak? Are you considered the owner of the mashkin or not? But his bro, even Rabbi Yitzchak, shir mishkin oy shloi b'shas halva. So what's shloi b'shas halva? Shloi b'shas halva means when it was already time to pay, and the guy couldn't pay, so he forced him to go to Bezdin, and Bezdin said, you know what? So he doesn't feel it? Yes. Mamish, I was speaking to my partner 5 minutes before Shabbos. He came up with this idea for a certain situation. It's like, listen, if the time comes up and you owe money, you give you have eitzah, give a piece of real estate as collateral. You're here, I don't have it now, but I don't want you to think I'm not going to pay you. Take this thing, and this will be yours. You give a deed, whatever it is. And then you buy yourself some time. If I don't pay you within a half a year, then you take the whole property, which is worth much more than the loan, let's say. It's eitzah. So that's what Bezdin says. Bezdin says, here, you're not paying? We're going to take your car. Here, these keys of the car, go to the malva. Okay, so that's shalei b'shas halva. But mishkan b'shas halva mi omar, meichet teisa, in a case of during the halva, and that's where Rebbe Akiva and Reb Eli are talking about. They're talking about shas halva. You're mixing up a case with Shalei B'Shal Seva. Yeah, okay, Shalei B'Shal Seva, the Malva gets to own the mashkin because he wasn't paid. So he gets to own the mashkin. But when a guy gives somebody a watch when he's borrowing money, it doesn't mean you own the watch. It's a different type of mashkin then. Says Gemara, no, 100%. If it's not during the Alva, in other words, Bezdin forces the mashkin, then everybody agrees that it's considered the malvas, it's his, and it's daka v'chulu. But we are talking about that the mashkin came at the time of the alva, and then what? We have a different shiloh. I'm just looking at all the news that's coming up. Oh, I just saw a good one, but it's the time I'm not telling you. It says that America is going to join the war in Iran. That's what they said now. Okay. Yeah. I think they're doing a pretty good job because Voch is helping them mamish flawlessly. It's Nisim. How can we they have such great planes, the F-35. Nisim in the flies, nobody fell, nobody this. Okay, talk about a different time. What?
Let them just send the missiles. We'll take care of it.
Who?
America, just send us the missiles and the
weapons. Yeah, that's the weapons. Yeah. I have one of my cleaning ladies. It's very hard to get a cleaning lady. So I have one lady that comes one time a week, and she's from Ukraine. And I was learning here the other day, and she opens up my door without knocking. Oh, so look, I said, no, She flew out. Anyway, she's very upset. She told my wife she's very upset because America sent all these the arrows or whatever to Israel instead of getting to Ukraine. It was on the way to Ukraine, and they diverted it to America. She's mamish betainis. Chutzpah, wow, they don't care about our country. Anyway, weiter. Did you see the Viter? They did a whole. It was the only funny part. Well, the funny part in the video. They just had a video. We showed a video yesterday, 2 days ago. Is a Bezdin, and the guy in the Bezdin goes, Viter. I'm talking to Remendi, who's sitting on my right. If you don't understand what?
Looking for Syria.
Okay, Viter. The famous Shaila of a Shomer Aveda. What does that have to do with us? Because a Malv is also being Mekayim mitzvah. When he gives a loan, he's doing a big mitzvah. So what do we have by Shomer Aveda? Shomer Aveda, Rabbi Omar, Shomer Chino. What halacha is a person that watches something that he finds in the street? Rav says he's a Shomer Chino. The Torah forces him to watch it. He's Shomer Chino. Yes, the Torah forces you to watch it, but you're getting paid. How are you getting paid? So this is the famous Gemara that Bahiyana with that pruta that he doesn't have to give money to the ani, and we did a whole thing when the ani the Yushalmi came in during shiur. Agale, he's part of the shiur. No longer every day he tells oh yeah, I want to come to the shiur. Maybe we'll give him Favet Zara. So that, but Rashi doesn't say that. That's where the pruta. Rashi says schar mitzvah, the other pshat in the Gemara. Here, you get tremendous schar for doing a mitzvah, and that is your payment. And that makes you Shem Sachar. It's unbelievable. So Gemara says, let me Rabbi Yosef Tanoi. So in that, you can tell me that that's good for what we're arguing over here. Loi. Everybody agrees by when you find a bicycle and you're watching it, that you have anah, and you get a mitzvah, and you become like a Shem Sachar. Over here, we're talking about, let's say the guy gives you collateral, he gives you his car. Give him a nice loan, he gives you a car. And you want to use his car. You're going on a trip somewhere, you want to use his car. So you're going to have to deduct a little bit from the loan. But now the question is, it's more like you're renting from the guy. You gave him a loan, and he gave you a car, and now you're using his car, you became a Shem Zach to the car. At the end of the day, he's doing a mitzvah by giving a loan. So he's a Shem Zachar. He's a Shem Chinam now. Interesting. It's like a fuch al fuch. Shem Chinam. Because it's not a mitzvah what he's doing. Says Gemara, let's go back to Shmuel, who says that if you give for a loan, you give a handle of a magel, of a sickle, you give the handle, does it become, Shmuel holds, it's mamish, if you lose the handle, you lose the entire loan. The malva can't go and recoup his loan. It says, we know that Shemitah is mishamet all loans. Yeah? Oh, we have to do turning the daf. Yeah, okay. Hold on. So we'll do turning the daf for a second. Turning of the daf.
Make America great again.
Nebuch, he's sitting in Cyprus.
And
And all these, what?
They're on Zoom. Hillel
They are. No, how do you we don't have the efsharut. We want to put you on Zoom, Hillel, and Aryeh, and who else? Oh. It's on a picture. Okay, so I'm going to put it over here. Ishmak. And who's the Hasidic kid? I don't recognize him. That's Ari Simon's kid. I'm sorry, it's Hillel's kid. No. Yeah. You don't see the picture?
They don't.
Oh.
But it's funny.
Hillel Kamiansky's video calling me, but it's on my camera. Tzaddik. Hillel Kamiansky's calling me on a video. I'm using my camera to record. If it went through as Shem Yirachim Hillel. But Yishkoyach. So, where are we? I don't know how I started talking about them.
Turning of the daf.
Oh, turning the daf.
You didn't read it.
So I was supposed to read that. Here we go. Kidnovations LLC in honor of our sons Kalman Yisrael for learning Sanhedrin Makkas and Shevuos of the belly. Adar Global answering great again, answering questions again. MAGA, anonymous, in honor of all the holy tzaddikim that work so hard to bring us the daf every day with no credit given. Enough said. By the way, those two people, Ari Simon and Hillel Kamiansky, are very, very instrumental in MDY. Do a lot of stuff behind the scenes, on the scenes, but both of them. Very, very chashuv. You have no idea how many people Hillel brought to the shiur from Los Angeles and this and that. He's been part of the shiur from Kemat day one. Anyway, what? He brought you? Are you joking?
It's the whole-
Yeah, we went through this, but somebody else took credit.
You.
I took credit. What? Wow, Shalom Aleichem. How did you make it happen? Our geniuses and computers made it happen. So what? You got a nice place to sleep at? What's going on over there?
This is a new recruit. You can't see.
I see the new recruit. What's his name?
We're with your Israel.
I know. I heard Reb Israel got stuck also. Very nice.
הכניס אותו ללאונג'.
Okay,
No,
we go weiter.
could we recruit him to the Daf? Could we recruit him to the Daf? Reb Israel.
Reb Israel himself. They want to know if you can recruit Reb Israel himself. Okay. Don't tell him about it. It might be better like this. Levi Ketanoi. So this idea that Shmuel said that when you give a mashkoin, the mashkoin represents the entire loan, and if you lose the mashkoin, you lose the loan. Oh, so that's where I was in the middle of talking about this. So there's a halach in Shemitah, again, we all know, but for the new guys, the guys that just started. When Shemitah comes in, you lose, or at the end of Shemitah, you lose your loan. All loans, if you don't do a prusbul, that's why today we do a prusbul. Now, what does the pasuk say? Look what the pasuk says. It says, Lo yigois es reyehu. The point is that you shouldn't shepa, you shouldn't pressure your friend. But if you have a mashkoin, you're not pressuring. You have nothing to pressure. You have a mashkin, you have a collateral. You don't need a pressure. Oh, so it doesn't apply to somebody that has a mashkin. But now that we have a little bit of machlokes, what if the mashkin is only worth half? So on half you won't pressure. Oh, I have extra gemaras. Why don't you tell me? On half I would pressure. I have another chance in there. Fine. So the mashkin represents the entire loan, even though the mashkin is only half. That's what Reb Gamliel says. That sounds like Shmuel to me. No, whatever. Here, so we have a little bit of a, let me see. First of all, this one. Remember this one? Okay, so this is, are you seeing this on the screen?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the pajama thing, which they say that Reb Chaim Kanievsky, you want to be Mekayim every mitzvah. Everybody wants to be Mekayim every mitzvah. So he gave a loan and took like something that he could give back every night.
That's only if he didn't give him back the loan. He found the mitzvah to someone that...
No, every night you have to give it back. He gives you a mash in the beginning, right? And then every night you have to go and give it back. Fine. So this is the story. The halva was for 1,000. And the mashkin is 600. So for 600, the guy's not worried. He's not being noigisim. But for 400, he's very worried. So the 400 Shemitah erases 400. This is what I just showed you. It's not going to be mishamet to 600, but it will be mishamet to 400. Seems like Reb Eli will hold that even the 600 Shemitah gets rid of. So then what was the whole point of having a mashkin if Shemitah gets rid of everything? So in other words, fakert, nothing is mishtamet. The whole thing is not mishtamet. Whether or not the mashkin, we have a machlokes in Shmuel, whether or not the mashkin represents the whole thing or not. Loi, not a raya, not a machlokes. No. So we're going to go back to the same thing we said before. We had a question. Then what does the mashkin help? Everything. It's mishamet the entire thing. If Shemitah gets rid of the entire loan, so why in the world did he give him a mashkin that's worth 600? Only to remind the guy, hey, you owe me money. That's it, not to save himself. Hadran Allah, Shvuos Hadayonim. Hadran Allah, Shvuos Hadayonim. Hadran Allah, Shvuos Hadayonim. What does that mean?
You have to be next to a show.
1 minute. Show us what it means. Come here, quickly. What is it showing? Here, people are leaving already. Okay, it's saying that you have to go. Oops, I don't see it well. I don't see. Everybody got it on their phone. How about my phone? Is my phone working?
How many times? Half hour?
It's saying they have to be next to a nice. So that means the Israeli share is going to be problematic.
I want it in English.
I'll do it in the
It's in English, it's better.
Half an hour?
Oh, Avremi has it going.
What?
Is it half an hour now?
You have between 15 to half hour usually.
So let's go.
Okay, we're going to finish up. Rabbi says, say Tehillim. We're going to learn Torah that all these missiles they should fall in open areas. We should be able, huh? Okay. Okay, so Rabbi said we have a very, very long Mishnah, and we're only going to do until the bottom of Amud Beis, and it's actually 3 Mishnayos. In the Mishnayos, this is 3 separate Mishnayos, and obviously the rest of the Mishnah is a lot more than that. I don't know how many. 7, 8, I have to look it up. This I only looked up Amud Beis here. Easy stuff. What? What are you looking over there? Who said that?
Let's finish.
Every normal Shevuos is somebody who swears, he makes a Shevuos, and he doesn't have to pay because of that. Let's say he's a shomer, he's a moedim miktas, he makes a Shevuos, and therefore he doesn't have to pay the rest. And these are the people who swear and they take. Hasachir, an employee. Vanigzal, and somebody that was robbed, and we're going to see what that means. Vanechbal, and somebody that gets injured, somebody injures him. And somebody who is not a good person already swore falsely somewhere, and so now we put the shvuah on the other person that shouldn't have sworn to begin with. I'll just show you real quickly to remind Oilam. Is something like this. It's not mami, but it just means, we're going to see later, it means that you tell somebody, go to the makolet, and I don't have money to pay you, so just go to the store and buy a bunch of food from the store. You tell the owner of the store, I'll pay you. And then both come to you, the store owner wants money, and the guy that you told to go to the store also wants money. He said, the guy didn't want to give me food. So somebody's lying, but you have to pay twice. Hasachir, okay, so now we're going to go each and every one. What's an employee? I want to get paid. I'm an employee. He says, I gave you. And he says, I didn't give you. So each one. Yeah. There's only one guy. There's an employee here. So the employee makes a shvuah and he gets his salary. We're going to see in the Gemara that has to do with this, because an employer is very busy, he's tarod, and he has a lot of employees. He doesn't remember sometimes who he paid and who he didn't. Rabbi Yehuda you need a little bit of a moedim miktsas. Pay me my salary, 50 dinar. How much? 50. He says, well, you got 25 half. And that's a moedim miktsas. So therefore, the employer, since he admitted to some, he has to make a shvuah. The other guy makes a shvuah and takes. Nigzal ketzad. So this is another Mishnah, by the way, officially in the Mishnah is. What does it mean you stole? They testified that, this is a trick question. Benny, you can't answer, but I would love to see who would know this. Let's say somebody owes you money, owes you $1 million. Now you're very concerned he's not going to give you money. So you sneak into his house and take some of his silver. Is that mutter or aser?
Also.
Why is it aser? Gezel. What do you say?
It wasn't the deal, yeah.
Okay, so here's the answer. You're not going to like this. It's a derais. It's a pasuk. No, you're right, but you have to say it's a pasuk.
But the picture before wasn't good because the Malva was inside the guy's house taking the pajamas. We go back to it.
He wasn't inside.
He was.
I saw it on the outside. It was on the outside of the house. They're outside.
It's inside to me. Okay, right.
Yeah, kasha of a mice.
Kasha of a build. Yeah. So he's lying. He's there's eidos that he went into the guy's house to take a mashkin. Who am I, Kaelin and Talta? He says, "What are you doing in my house? Why did you take the stuff?" Voimer le'netalti, I didn't take. Who nishba v'noitel? So the loiva swears and takes. Rabbi Eli, no, same thing. You need a moed mixas. The loiva accuses the malva of taking 2 vessels. Why did you take 2 pieces of silver? I only took 1 piece of silver. In that case, nishba v'noitel. The loiva makes a shvuah and takes. Next Mishnah. Nichbal Ketzar, a guy that was wounded. What's the pshat? We had a little bit of a thing here. Let's see. We don't have time for this, right? This Rosh Merusha, who's no longer in this world. See. Now you don't see what happened, but he's learning the daf, and of course the daf saves. And then, am I supposed to push this again? He comes out all binged up. So who did it? Obviously the guy that was learning the daf. He came in whole. He came out injured. And he says, Yomi, and I didn't do it. I raised the nishba v'noitel. So the chavel makes a shvuah and he gets his money. Again, you need a little bit of money. He says, you hit me in 2 places. You broke 2 bones, my hand and my leg. I only broke your leg. That's the case of nishba v'noitel. Boysai, keep safe. We should psuras toivos. Have a wonderful night.
Merit the Zechus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shiur today. MDYSponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDaf.com.